What's going on YouTube? You know who it is. Welcome to this week's edition of my sub reviews. About 14 books here. Pretty average of what I've been getting. And compared to last week, you would think that I loved every one of these books just extraordinarily. But last week was just kind of weird. But a lot of really good books here. Jump right into it with Indestructible Hulk, Agent of Time, number 12, written by the wonderful Mark Waid, who is a master at what he does. When I saw this cover, and I saw that there was going to be dinosaurs and cowboys involved, I thought it was just going to be a horrific, just car crash of an issue. And I started reading it, and it was so well written and so well put together. I really, really enjoyed this. It's Hulk is in some version of time. I believe it's the Old West with Rawhide Kid, Two Gun Kid, whatever, Kid Colt. It's all the old like Marvel Western characters, not all of them, but you know. And he's fighting dinosaurs because there's a chrononaut there trying to do, I don't know. No matter what happened, it was awesome. It was so well done. And I thought I would hate the little robot that is the sensible Bruce Banner, like not Hulk, he's actually Bruce Banner. I thought I'd hate it, but I really enjoyed what it's doing. It may get old after a few issues, so I don't know how long it's going to be around, but I really liked this issue. Mark Waid deserves an applause for this. Digital code's available. Now another Mark Waid book that just knocks it out of the park every week. Not every week. Every issue is Daredevil, as I always say. Daredevil number 30, appearance by Silver Surfer. This is just such a great feel-good book. It reminds me of an old like Bronze Age team-up, and it's just phenomenal the way that they work together. New kind of character twist for Silver Surfer, where because he's always in space, he doesn't see how we do. He sees souls, I guess you could say, and he's hunting this character that doesn't have a soul. Either way, though, I really, really enjoyed this. This book is always fantastic, and it's good to see Silver Surfer back in current continuity. Next, we have Number Cruncher, number 2. Fantastic. I love the way this book is going. The only issue I have with this book is I think I couldn't handle the thick British accent. I don't know if it's a certain part of England or anything, or Britain, I don't know. But I wouldn't be able to handle it in a super large dose. So, like, if Simon Spurrier wrote XMen Legacy with the same accent, I probably couldn't handle it. But because it's this book, and because the art works so well with it, that's another thing. If it was a different book that this art was in, I wouldn't be able to like it, because there's certain panels look amazing, and then the next one looks like it was thrown together in 2 seconds. But because it's this book, and the way this book is going, and the way it's told, and the way everything's going, it's absolutely phenomenal. I really, really love this book. And I'm going to be sad when it leaves with number 4. But right now I'm enjoying the ride. Supergirl number 23 against Cyborg Superman. He's trying to work her mentality or her thoughts and, you know, memories into this kind of living planet, to work it into himself so he can be complete. And she's battling all these versions of her memories. She's battling Silver Banshee, she's battling Power Girl, she's battling Wonder Woman. And she does a really good job of tearing them apart. This issue does a really good job of showing those fighting. He eventually ends up actually capturing her and scrubbing her clean, free of the kryptonite. Immediately is working it into his body, and the guy that's there with him says, your employer's not going to like this, just keeps repeating it. Employer ends up being Brainiac, who shows up, and it looks like it's going to be Brainiac versus Supergirl's dad. Zor-El, I believe his name is. And it's going to be interesting seeing how that goes. But it seems Cyborg Superman is not Cyborg Superman anymore, but is Zor-El, Supergirl's dad. Very interesting. Here's Infinity crossover of Avengers. This is issue 18. And I really, really enjoy this. Although I would have enjoyed it more, and I'll tell you that in a second. But I love the way they go about the battle strategy. I love how all the Avengers are there at the galactic meeting of all the heads of planets and heads of just entire civilizations. I love the whole political aspect of it. I really love that. The issue I had with it was this battle is pretty much the same exact battle that happened in Avengers Assemble, number 18. and I read Avengers Assemble first. If I would have read this first, it would have been a lot better. But because I read Avengers Assemble first, there were kind of things that didn't work together. I mean, it's just me being critical of it, but it didn't work together. It seems that Captain Marvel and Hawkeye are being sucked into a black hole. That's what I got out of the last issue, or out of the last panel. I'm not sure if that's exactly what happened. It was a little confusing. But I love the way Infinity's going. I just hope he doesn't stretch it so thin. There's so many things going on we can't tell. But right now, I feel like it's just big enough that we can handle it. Digital code not available for that. Now, Avengers Assemble 18 is kind of all told from the aspect of Spider-Woman. And the issue I had with this is, in Avengers, they have Manifold teleporting them out while she's still on the plane. But this story is all about her not being on the plane and being lost in the debris field and being saved by a Skrull. So that was the issue I had. It was a little continuity issue. It's probably just me being critical. But I did really like this. I like when you don't see a lot of Spider-Woman, or at least not a lot of her character or personality. And I really enjoyed this being told as her side. But it was still the fact that if I would have read Avengers first, this would have been better. But because I read this first, Avengers was so-so. Digital code is available for this, and I really love this cover. Next you have XMen Legacy number 15, and if from the last issue, Pete Wisdom brought in Legion's mother, the Israel representative to England or something. I have no idea any of the history of Legion's mother, but I feel like they did a good job of explaining it to me in this, how he was left with Maury McTaggart, and he took her to the place where he was kept prisoner and everything. Eventually, these two villains, I think they were from the past issue. I didn't really get a good look at them. They attempted to shoot Legion, but shot his mother. She ended up dying. I guess that's a spoiler. And he pretty much just destroys him without a thought. He then goes to the Jean Grey school and just is kind of sitting in front of his father's statue, talking to Blindfold about what needs to be done and, you know, all this. And it seems that Legion, who is now in control of most of his powers, is going to go after Cyclops for the death of his father. He calls it, he says, for justice. And I'm super excited to see what goes on. The next cover actually has Legion looking at his hair, and there's an X through it, like Cyclops burned a hole through it with his laser eyes. But just a phenomenal book. If you're not reading X-Men Legacy, I highly recommend picking it up. I highly recommend going up and picking up all of the back issues or the trades, because it's just a phenomenal series through and through. Next, Animal Man 23, and I'm not familiar with Brother Blood. I really don't know. I've never ran into him before, but they did a good job of showing me what he wants and what he's always wanted, I guess. He always wanted to be an Avatar of the Red. They chose Buddy Baker over him. Buddy's still having his kind of emotional breakdown. His wife is gone. Nobody knows where she is. Well, he knows where she is, but, you know, everybody thinks that Buddy's a liar, and it's all publicity. Meanwhile, Maxine is going into the Red, and I love that aspect of the story. I love her going and exploring the Red and looking for her brother. And she's with a group of pirates that are animals in this. It's just a phenomenal thing. But the reason that Buddy's blood was taken to give the brother blood to become able to see the Red and control the Red. He enters the Red, and it looks like he's destroying it. Maxine seems to be injured, Buddy seems to be injured, and he's kind of in the Red. It seems that one of the totems of the Red, the guy with the horns out of his eyes, who I always thought was the coolest one, it was an inside job. He wanted it to happen, and he chooses him as the Avatar of the Red. Absolutely loved it. The only downfall about this book is when you turn to the last page and it says, in 2 months. So we have to wait through all the point issues to get to the next thing that happened. I don't know. That bothers me, but it was such a great story, I can't be mad at it. Phenomenal, though. Next we have Thunderbolts number 14, and I'd like to say I really like the blue on here. The red kind of... I got used to the red, so when he threw his blue at me, it really switched it up. This says it's an Infinity crossover. It's really not. There is mention of it. I really like the way Soleil's writing this book. It's so much better than Way. He writes Deadpool way better than him. He doesn't write Deadpool like an idiot, is what I'm saying. I've said that many times before, though. And Thunderbolt Ross says it's time to work on somebody else's problem. He said that's how it's going to go. That's why they came, so the team could take care of individual problems. And he said because they already took care of one of his problems, it's time for the team to take You know, time for the team to take somebody else's problem. Pick a name out of the hat, it's the Punisher. Tells of this mob family who teaches all the other families, and they're pretty much indispensable to the crime, the whole crime of New York. He wants to take them down. He has this elaborate scheme. He says, everybody sit back, we don't want the Avengers to come. This is the only mention of Infinity. It then comes known that they're not in the world, so he just changes his plan completely, and he says, alright, we're all going in. I really like the way this is going. I really like the story. I really can't say enough about it. I just really do absolutely love this book now. I was close to dropping it, and I'm glad he started writing it, because I wouldn't be on it now if he wasn't. Next we have Superior Spider-Man number 16. Cover's a little deceiving. If you've been reading this, you know that Superior Spider-Man has killed, and it seems that he has no problem killing, so you'd think that he killed Hobgoblin on the front here. Not such the case. He catches him, ends up sending him to prison, but he gets broken out by a member of the Goblin family or whatever, becomes the Goblin Knight. That's pretty much the whole issue, but it is awesome. I love it. I love Superior Spider-Man. Anybody who's hating on this book is just because they love Peter Parker so much. I didn't like Peter Parker, so I understand why you would hate it, but I absolutely love this book, not going anywhere. Digital code also not available. That's taken. Superior Nova number 7. Superior Spider-Man's on the cover. Don't really know why. He's only in the book for like 3 panels. I didn't like this at all. If the last panel didn't reveal that Thanos was going to be in the next issue, this would be dropped. I hate this book. Take the code because I hate knowing that I have 2 versions of this book. I really hated it. I really did. I don't even want to say any more about it. Superman Unchained number 3. You have this character that is apparently a worker for the government, for the U.S. Army, who is called Wraith. Who is it has something to do with who found him. I think it's Rudolph. The General Rudolph found him and gave him the name. Either way, it seems that he's far superior to Spider-Man. It seems he's far superior to Superman, and they did have a couple pages of battle in this. My issue with Jim Lee's artwork in this book is that there's whole pages, 2-3 pages taken up by him flying through the air. That's not necessary. That's taking up story that I could read, and it bothers me a little bit when I'm flipping through 3 pages in a matter of minutes. But that's just a personal preference. They end up going to fight something together to save something after a long, long speech from Lois's father. And eventually Wraith reveals that he's going to have to kill Superman. I am really excited to see where this goes. I really do love the series, other than Jim Lee's art when he does 4 pages for one action. That's the only thing that bothers me. Next, honorable mention for Pick of the Week. One of my favorite series. One of my favorite titles every week is out. Cable and XForce 13. We learn more about why the time stream is messed up. We learn more about how it's trying to correct itself. We learn that it was definitely Blacksmith and Hope, older Hope, who is now Strife, future Hope, I guess you'd say, who is pumping the precognitive abilities into Cable so he can see what's going to happen. And they're doing it using a Deathlok's probability. I don't know. It was awesome. It was explained very well. And I think it had a lot to do with that guy being involved, Cullen Bunn, master of anything time-related. I firmly believe that. And we also see just X-Force working together to take down another thing that helps the future. We also have the other aspect of the story where Cable is trying to talk Havoc in, and talk to Havoc about what happened and what his team is and what they're doing. Just a phenomenal book all around. And Hope warns future Hope and Blacksmith that it might be killing him, and if he dies, everything's gone. They send her back, they say, you have to fight for your father. Just phenomenal. They give her this weapon on the front here, this bladed staff or whatever it is. And just the team as a whole was awesome. It looks like the cover of the next issue has Cable laying on the ground and Hope kind of guarding him from the Uncanny Avengers. And I like how the Uncanny Avengers is kind of running parallel to this, but nothing that's in here is in Uncanny Avengers. I don't even remember the last issue of Uncanny Avengers. It seems like it was 2 months ago. But I absolutely love this. Take this digital code and give it a shot yourself because it is phenomenal. And now, a title that I would have never expected to give Pick of the Week. X-Men number 4. This book was all around incredible. It opens up with Wolverine and Jubilee on the beach with her child, and just talking about how that's where she used to go. This is where she grew up. Just talking to Wolverine about, do you think she's too young to be a mother? They travel to her childhood home. They travel to the mall to eat, where actually her first appearance was. There's actually an editor's note in here about saying, what they were talking about was related to her first appearance. I haven't seen an editor's note in a book in forever, and I loved that. Honestly, oddly enough, that probably would have been enough to make this pick of the week. But the rest of the book was just phenomenal. You have the other story of Storm and Rachel Gray battling over who is the leader of the X-Men, and then during all that, you have Rogue, Kitty Pryde, and Psylocke saving a plane that one whole engine is out. And Rogue takes Psylocke's all of her abilities to do what needs to be done, and it's just phenomenal. This entire book was just awesome. I already gave the code up. My one buddy isn't subscribed to this, so I told him he needed to read it, sent him the code. He loved it as well. I love seeing Jubilee back. I love this new character aspect of Jubilee. Wolverine actually bought her childhood home that she said she didn't want. And that's a side of Wolverine that we don't see much. But just an absolutely incredible issue. I hope this doesn't go downwards. Although, unless I'm wrong, I think this is just a filler issue, because I think the battle for the Atom is next. And so with that, because I don't think it's going to involve anything that we saw. But that was that. If you want the codes, shoot me a message. They're free. First one to get it to me, first one to send me a message about it gets it. I don't think I've sent any of the codes out for the past month. I apologize. If you want any codes from here and you've asked for codes before, if you just want to send me one message with all the codes that you've asked for, then I should be able to get them to you. And I will do that definitely this weekend. I'll do it tomorrow, if not later today. But other than that, thank you for watching. And remember, have a great day.